Welcome to the Livin Life and Style Business Roundtable. Joining us today so far is my good buddy Mike Foote.
I'm gonna work on that glare.
Hey, look, bro.
I need to powder my head.
That's why I wear a hat, man, every day.
Get better. I don't wear a hat a lot of times, so I'm hoping for like growth. Sun.
I'm not sure, but maybe you could tattoo your head like Bam Bam Bigelow.
Probably not. I might have done that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, before every soccer mom and had a freaking sleeve tattoo.
Did you see my post I made like earlier?
Yeah, I did.
And I'm the rebel with no ink.
I have 3 tattoos. I got one of them right after I got out of boot camp in '83, and then I got another one the next year. And back then it was kind of a statement, a rebellious thing. Well, I told my wife, like, I'm about to get my shit taken off. All these soccer moms.
Right. I mean, like, when I was a kid growing up, it was always, you were either in the military or you were a biker.
Right.
Those who had tattoos. Everybody else, no. You didn't have tattoos. I had one shot at getting a tattoo, and where I really considered it was because I had just been initiated into my fraternity, and I was going to get my fraternity letters and number put on like my ankle or the back of my shoulder or something. And I chickened out at the last minute. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then like 2 weeks later, I turned around and said, you know what? I do want to do that. And my big brother said, too late. I'm not doing it for you now. And it's probably the best rejection I've ever had in my life.
That's funny. Yeah, I was just like, it's not the same. My dad's funny because my dad worked for Honeywell for 50 years. And he was a management guy, a management engineer. And they had, like, he's an old fashioned dude. And they had, like, one of their meetings, they were talking about hiring all these millennial people with all the tattoos. Right. And you're supposed to, because in my day you always got them where you could cover them up. And then, so my dad was like, they come in this meeting and they tell my dad, who was late 60s at the time, early 70s probably, and they were like, you're supposed to ask them what their tattoos mean to them, like what they mean. They have a meaning. They got them for whatever. My dad's like, I don't give a shit. Cover it up.
So
funny.
George Cater joining us as well. George, are you ink free or
howdy?
Are you got some good ink hiding under those long sleeves?
Tattoo?
Yeah. No, I am ink free. I kind of want one. I never knew what I wanted, and I didn't want to just put anything on. So that's the only reason why I've never done one.
Never get a boyfriend or girlfriend's name. Never.
No, that's the kiss of death.
Yes.
I've been married for 40 years, and I still she jokes about it once in a while, and I was like, all right, if you want to break up, I'll put your name on my ass.
I had a fraternity brother. I had a fraternity brother who he had a tattoo on his ass and it said wow, right? But he had the W's shaped in such a way that when he did a handstand, it said mom.
Pretty good.
I only know this because I was at his 21st birthday party and he became quite
I have one good ass tat story.
Sharing. You got a tat story?
Yeah, I got one good one that comes to mind. Speaking of ass tats, are you guys into fantasy football?
Of course. Did you say speaking of ass tats?
Yes.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
There we go. So I have a group of friends I grew up with in St. Louis, right? And we've known each other for about 20 years, I think, something like that. But they've always had this fantasy group, and I never wanted to participate with them because at the time I didn't know shit about football, and then B, it's a brutal, just nightmare of a group. So yeah, I'm sure you guys in your groups may have punishments for the loser, last place of the league, right?
Oh yeah.
So in 2020, man, or I think it was, I can't remember, it was 16 or 20, I can't remember. The loser of this group in particular, this year, more of a conservative guy, politically, I guess, and his punishment was he had to get a Bernie Sanders ass tattoo. It says "Feel the burn." Feel the burn with the election year on it, kind of like a slogan.
Right.
So that's why one of the testaments to why I'll never participate with that group.
Oh yeah, no, because I would bow out. I'd be like, no, I'm not
I
getting
might get a Bernie one. I wouldn't get an Obama one. But.
There is no way I'm getting any tattoo for a fantasy football. I mean, tell me he didn't have to pay for it too.
I don't even know, to be honest. I
would be pissed,
stopped asking.
Man. Like, I'm not paying. It's like I'm not paying for a tattoo I don't want. Are you insane?
I think the group collectively paid for it. I'm pretty sure, but I wasn't a part of it.
That is a wild. Yeah, that is a crazy punishment. I mean, we were talking about in our punishment, like we had to sit in a McDonald's for 24 hours, and the only way we could reduce the time was by like eating cheeseburgers. And I'm already like, dude, that makes me sick to my stomach. But damn,
someone, that group, the loser had to do the Waffle House challenges, just like that, but a Waffle House.
Right? Yeah,
maybe 3 months ago.
I just know I was lucky, so I was like the worst team in my league. Not last year, but the year before. It was my first year in the league. It was actually the first year of the league, and I get in there and I'm terrible. And worst team, worst record, worst number of points and everything. But I had been trading and moving players around, and I had finally put together right as we were getting into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And we have like a loser's bracket. So if you lose, you move on, right? And then whoever wins the losing bracket, that's who ended up with the punishment. And I'm like, dude, I only have to win one game. And I only have to win one game against shitty teams. We can make this happen. And sure enough, man, I won my first game of the playoffs, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. No punishments for me. And now my team's not too bad, so I don't have to worry about it. But I'm not. Yeah, those punishments can be really, really mean. I'm not.
Well, I mean, it's been. I think the tattoo is the worst one, only because that's just you carry that with you for a long, long time, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's been some though. It was like so aggressive too. It was because we'll do a trip every year for it, right? And I think one year we went to, God, this may have been Nashville or Louisville, I think. And as soon as we got there, the previous year's loser had to do the punishment. And this was basically a half-naked beer mile with us shooting him with paintballs as he'd run around the property.
Oh, dude, that would hurt.
And he had to get 5 laps in,
Oh, man. Well, very good. Well, Zach Poland from Conflow has joined us now. So what kind of ass tat stories do you have, Zach?
What are you throwing into that? What are we doing? What are you throwing me into here?
We're discussing very important business issues here today. Ass tattoos.
No, you don't have to show yours.
I will have to tell you that I've never seen one, and I don't know anybody that has one.
Yeah.
Well,
as far as you know.
Yeah, you're only at best, because Mike hasn't admitted whether or not he knows of any ass tattoos, but Eric and George have both have knowledge of ass tattoos on other people, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm believing George that George says he wasn't the guy he's speaking of in the third person.
No, no, I would never participate in that fantasy football group. I'll take that chance. I'm good.
All right. So we got the crew together here. Let's do the quick little intro. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're out there listening. We would appreciate it. The more people who can watch the show, the more attention we can get when we're talking about ass tattoos. The show's brought to you by Livin Life and Style Travel, full service travel agency. You give me a call, 816-744-1405. You can find me on the web at my brand new website, livinlifeandstyle.com. We have Mike Foote with Mike is our mortgage guy. I always forget everybody's name, business name. So give the announcements. The only reason I knew Zach's is it's on a damn poster right behind his head. So
That's
Mike,
handy.
yeah, I know, right? Kick it off. Who are you? Where are you with? Who are you with?
I'm not sure.
And then I will have a
It's
question
been a
of the
long
day
week.
to get us kicked off here in a minute.
Yeah.
Question of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Foote with Summit Lending, Lee Summit, Missouri. A mortgage broker. Do purchases, refis. We're doing some cash out refis right now. People do bill consolidation, stuff like that. Whatever you need, I've got 30 or 40 lenders. I don't know. Something that we use.
Very nice.
I've seen it all, brother.
Experience helps. Experience helps.
I've been around.
George
before
Gator.
they had guidelines. Like we didn't really have guidelines back then.
Yeah.
The
All
Wild
rules.
West. George Cater, you're up.
Yeah. George Cater here with Prevail Strategies. I would say for most, we're a very unique, non-traditional financial planning firm. For some, we're the investment advisors that believe and invest in a lot of real estate. People know us for a few different things, but I'd say that's a good way to kind of keep it high level, man.
Very good.
Yep.
And Zach Poland.
I'm eating as I
He's
have this
eating.
is my only window through today.
What are we having?
That's
What's
all
for
right.
lunch?
Well, right now I'm having mad cows, what I call it. What is it? These little, I don't know what those are.
Oh,
Oh, those are great, actually.
Red
Blue
cow,
bell
I don't know.
cheese?
What is it? Something
Blue-
cow.
Is them?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I see them though. They're
I
great.
call
My
them-
girlfriend
I call
buys
them
them.
Mad cow cheese is what I call it.
Mad cow
cheese.
I'd rather have an
and,
ass tattoo.
thin wheat crackers.
Nice.
And then I'll have an apple and some peanut butter here in a minute.
Look at
Right
you,
on.
all healthy. Look at you. I'm
Why want to go jog while we're all here? Go ahead.
just working with Cheez-Its today.
Cheez-Its, I got those out of life a few years ago. Yeah, Zach Complo Strategic, help small businesses or businesses in general, coaching, consulting, gain and maintain and retain whatever the profits inside of their business that they may or may not know it's there, and help businesses basically set up for their exit. A lot of businesses think or business owners think their business is worth something, and because they need it to be, when in reality it's not. It's just knowing the metrics and getting them aligned and getting their P&Ls correct so they can either sell, exit, or if it's good enough, stay in the business and
Man, love that.
make
M&A work is
make the
exciting.
money that it's supposed to. Yep.
Yeah. Love it. All right.
All right, you guys ready for the question of the day to kick us off?
Oh,
I didn't
boy,
really
can't
expect
wait.
I
The ass tat wasn't the question of the day.
Right, I know, right? Like I didn't really expect that to be the question of the day, but it kind of just came, showed up that way.
Yeah.
All right, so here's our, and maybe we will have a little bit of mention of ass tattoo. What's one piece of unconventional advice that has significantly helped you in your entrepreneurial journey? Step 1, don't get an ass tattoo.
Yeah.
That's
I guess that has to be said.
Entrepreneurial journey.
I guess that one has to be said now.
Unconventional advice. I don't even know what that necessarily constitutes.
I don't know.
Maybe I might have one that comes to mind.
Okay, kick us off.
Slow down to speed up.
Slow down to speed up. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the? I think I kind of get what it's getting at, but why don't you elaborate?
You probably do, man, because you have a similar experience that I do with what I got going on. But in my world, it's when you're marketing or prospecting or whatever you want to call it, right? It's there's a numbers game that a lot of people will kind of talk about, which is great to kind of meet people as efficiently as possible and meet as many people. But kind of what I learned is slowing down to take that relationship a bit more I don't want to say serious, but ask more important questions. Just slow down, get to know the people, be way more relational. That's gone a lot further for me than playing the numbers game has, actually. So it's kind of what I mean by slow down to speed up. Slowing down to do that more personal kind of connection has, it's allowed me to speed up my business productivity. So
very good. Very good. Yeah. For me, I don't even know that I got this advice as like business advice, but it does help keep me like grounded and a little less freaked out that I'm not getting everything done. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just that, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time,
Start with the ass tat.
Yeah. Well, I'd probably leave the, probably like that piece off and just set it aside.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just a simple matter, it's like because today's April 30th, and at the end of the month, my last show of any month, I tried to do a monthly reflections, just kind of reflect on what I've done this month. What did I get accomplished? What did I have challenges with? And then kind of what am I looking forward to moving forward, into the next month and so on. And, today I was talking about it, and, I've been wanting to get my website redesigned for a long time. And I've been thinking that I was going to do it myself, and eventually I just broke down as like, you know what, I'm just going to pay the guy. I'm going to get it done so that it's done, because I can't do all the things. I have to just, eat the small piece of the meal in front of me as I work my way through it and get to the bigger pieces that I want to happen. So I guess that's what I've got so far. I might think of something else as we move along here, but Mike, Zach, what do you got?
I'll tell you, like,
advice?
when I heard maybe like focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses.
Focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses.
Yeah, like, we're trying to like fix all this shit you don't do right. You know what I mean? So you worry about like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, whatever. Just go with what you know and do it.
Right. All right. Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm not saying don't improve yourself or whatever, but
right.
If you like spend so much time focusing on what you're doing wrong, you're not going to do anything.
Well, yes, and not only that, but you want to play to your strengths. I mean, it's not that we don't have weaknesses, but you need to play to your strengths so that, in large part to cover up for some of your weaknesses.
Correct.
When it's like, here's a weird example for the unconventional advice, like not David Robinson. What was his name? With the wild hair, played for the Bulls and the Pistons. Dennis Rodman. Yeah. Okay. The dude was a professional basketball player, and he could barely shoot. He if you look at his points per game, he might even be a Hall of Famer, and he probably doesn't even average 10 points a game. But he was a defensive and rebounding ace. He would out rebound Shaq, and he was 3 inches shorter and 120 pounds lighter than Shaq, and he would head to head, he would out rebound Shaq because those were his strengths, and he just focused on being the best at the part of the game that he was the best at, which it propelled him to multiple championships, propelled him to a Hall of Fame career, from an Electra to visiting North Korea. The dude has the most wild story in history. I got to admit, I don't know. I mean, I am shocked they have not made the movie yet. I got to be honest, but play to your strengths, man. It worked for Dennis. It's working for Mike.
Sure.
I don't know if you.
I didn't say it was working. I just said that was when somebody said it.
That was the advice.
Yeah. I'm like, I know better than you. I'll do what I want. Don't tell me what to do.
Right. So Zach, you're up. Unconventional advice.
I got two things before that. One of them, I remember the name of it is Laughing Cow Cheese, not Mad Cow.
Laughing Cow.
I like Mad Cow.
Happy Cow.
One of them. What do you say? Happy Cow? Maybe that's what it is. Laughing Cow. Oh, yeah. Secondly, I've been wanting to ask you this for like weeks. Does that phone back there work?
Mike,
It is not connected.
Oh, okay.
It works, but
It's
I
not
think it
connected.
works, but it's not. No, it's not connected.
I picture you in there like getting the ultimate call, like I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, the whole time.
There we go. How about now?
there we go.
My phone rang. My phone's hooked up to this stupid Bluetooth and it cut out.
Not that one. Not the green one.
No, it does not. Not the green one. It's not Bluetooth. No, it doesn't work. I thought about it, but I don't have a landline, so it really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Be good, but
I don't know if it's really not non-traditional advice or whatever, but it's like fire yourself until you get to that point that you like doing what you're doing. In other words, like all the little tasks that you hate doing, you should find another either system or person or method to not do it. I mean, and that's I always do that. Even if I like doing it, sometimes I try to get myself doing it. The way to step up and grow up, I guess, build upwards. That's if it's non-traditional, maybe not, but I live by that. If I'm doing something, then figure out a way to somebody else or some other system can do it.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like what I did with my website. It's kind of like what Mike was talking about playing to your strengths. He's like, if your strengths aren't doing the admin data entry stuff, find somebody else to do it. And it kind of speaks to, it speaks to the idea of like another way of looking at it would be like, when I do the things I do, I make this much money per hour or whatever. And when I'm putting my efforts towards this, right. And if I'm putting my efforts towards another aspect of my business that I'm not as good and efficient at, and I could hire somebody out at a lower rate to do that job than what I make when I'm doing the thing I'm good at, I should focus on doing the thing I'm good at and let somebody else, whether I outsource it with a third party or like, Zach said, find a different system that makes it happen easier, then that's what I should do so that I'm making more money with the time that I have. Right. I can, do my own oil changes, but it only costs me $80 to get my oil changed, and if I do it, it's going to take half a day. Right. Well, my half a day is worth a hell of a lot more than $80.
And it costs about $50 to buy the oil and stuff nowadays.
It does. It does. I looked that up because I was wondering. I was like,
I did that
because I like to do some of that stuff myself. It's fun. It's I feel a little manly. I'm working on a car. Pop the hood, get out some ratchets. Crank some bolts. That's fun. That's good. Because I just did a tune-up for my car the other day. It didn't take that long. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't leisure time that I did that during, it would be wasting my time if I could have been making money selling travel to people, right. I suppose. All right. Well, we've kind of exhausted the question of the day at this point. So I saw that two things economically that I saw. One, we are only 1 quarter away from a recession now because the numbers came in and we had negative GDP growth in the first quarter of the year. And at the same time, Fed's favorite inflation indicator tumbles to 4-year lows. So this is something else I've noticed too. When I go to the grocery store, like prices have been going up and up and up and up and up and up, right? And now when I go to the grocery store, like everything's on sale. Like everything. Like cookies. I was just down the cookie aisle last night, right? They're going for like $6 a box, right? Or whatever.
I can't believe that shit.
Like every brand of cookie was on sale for like $3 a box. Now it's just a sale, right? But these have been persistent and continuing to go lower. And there are stats that are showing that inflation's on the slide.
Did you buy all of them?
No, I did not buy all of them. But a weird thing. The regular size Chips Ahoy was actually like $1 more expensive than the family size Chips Ahoy, because the family size Chips Ahoy was on a bigger sale. Like, wow. So I got me some $3 family size Chips Ahoy. Because
I would like to know a little more in depth of this. Why do we think this is happening?
Well, why do we think that inflation is going down?
Well, I mean, no. Is that what we think it is?
No, I definitely think I do definitely think
I don't know
inflation
what
is
to
going
think.
down.
I don't believe anything any of them say. And like, I know it cost me $100 to put 4 things in my cart. So,
Dude, it's impossible almost to get out of the grocery store without spending $50 or more.
That's a big joke. When we go to Costco on Sundays usually and get some stuff, me and my wife, and it's like I always joke about that, like $100. Like,
right,
that's my number.
No, yeah, at Costco, I can't
Yeah.
imagine you can get out of Costco for less.
I
than
tell her all
$100.
the time, the only time I ever get out without under $100 is if you're not with me. So, but I mean,
I could not make that claim to my wife.
I'll tell you what I like. You know, talk about unconventional advice or whatever. But me personally, in the business I'm in, you know, it's always alarmist. It's always extreme, and everything you see, it's, oh my God, this is the lowest rate it's been in X number of days, or lowest rate or the highest rate of this or that and the other. Like, as far as recession goes, and I've decided that I'm not participating in it. So,
right.
Like, people ask me that, and same with, it's kind of like interest rates. Like, for 3 years, we've been talking about interest rates, and interest rates are going up, and they're coming down. They've been telling us, as an industry, the experts, interest rates are coming down next quarter, the first quarter of this, the second quarter, the last quarter of this, right after the election. This, I mean, all that stuff, and it's
right.
and they've just like the whole time. So I kind of decided I'm not participating in that. Even a market crash is only a certain percentage of the market. So,
right.
You know, it's like they consider a crash, and I don't even know what because the media is so skewed and so much propaganda right now and it's so terrible that anything they tell me right now, they tell me it's freaking Wednesday, I don't believe it. And,
well, so but, I mean, to Zach's point though, one of the things that I did see, you know, there's certain things I take as pretty sound, right? When you're getting the basic numbers out of the Fed, you know, or the different, you know, the Office of Budget Management, all the accounting things that come out of the government. It's not that I mean, you have to understand that they tweak the formulas and stuff to make numbers look better than, or make the information look better than they are, granted, but it doesn't mean that the hard numbers aren't sound, right? So I can kind of rely on that a little bit as far as finding quality information. But one of the things I saw was that over the last 2 months, the federal government has actually borrowed less money than projected, like both months. And, you know, knowing how the monetary system works, if they're not borrowing as much money as they planned on, that means they're printing less money than they planned on, which would inherently, since inflation is just too many slips of paper chasing too few goods, if you're printing less, then you're going to have, I would think, at least the rate of inflation coming down.
Right.
But
yeah,
most people,
there's so much stuff. And then if they could, you know, like you said, if you look at the hard numbers, you really have to kind of dig into that to really find out what the truth is. Because, you know, even the Congressional Budget Office and those people, they tell you, I mean, those are the same people that told us Obamacare was going to save us a bunch of money, right? On your
are you trying to imply it didn't? I said, are you trying to imply that it didn't?
Right. Yeah. I'm not implying it. Like, I've gone through every year, like every time it renews, your insurance gets worse and worse and worse. So I had stuff last year. Last year we maxed out. Was it last year? Maybe it's 23. We maxed out in cash out of pocket. And so my wife calls and they wanted to buy hearing aids. Do I have hearing aids? I don't know where they are. I don't use them.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear all this shit. So anyway, but Brett, they you just call them and they're like, oh yeah, you can just buy them and get reimbursed. And so we did that. And they're like, oh wait, no, your cash out of pocket is different. If you have in-network cash out of pocket, now you got out-of-network out of pocket. They added out-of-network on there. And that's so.
Oh my God.
Every time you turn around, it's like, oh no, it's cash out of pocket is what it says. Oh, but you spin it over here instead of over here. Now so we're not going to give you that back. And every year it just gets worse and worse and worse.
There's a new thing when November rolls around this upcoming year, when it comes to health insurance, since we touched on there is a new, let's hear if I can find the tab. Forgot what it's called now. Oh wait, here you go. The inactive tabs. That's where it is. Hold on. I'll find it here in a second. But it's basically crowdsourced health insurance. Yeah, Crowd Health. That's what it's called. There we go.
Crowd Health.
Crowd Health. It's Crowd Health. And it's basically crowdsourcing healthcare, right? So all members pay a monthly advocacy fee of $55 to Crowd Health, and then are asked for a contribution up to $140 if you're single and under 55, $280 if you are single and or single 55 plus, and $420 if you are a family of 4 or more to help someone else in the crowd. So basically, it's $55 a month, and then at maximum an extra $420 for a family of 4. A maximum. So
a month.
And so basically the $420 basically is you paying whatever your share is to help pay for the medical bills of the people in the group.
That's
right?
There was one of those that's been around for a while. I don't remember the name of it, but that was a similar thing, and you had to wait a while before you could. You had to pay into it for a while. I can't remember the name, but it used to be on the radio all the time.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it may be this one as well, but I mean,
yeah, it was similar.
I'm very interested in doing this because I mean, that's like that would cut my health insurance in less than half, or more than half. Cut it in more than half, because I think we probably pay like $1,300 on that. So I definitely, if you're doing health insurance, if you got to, because I'm on my wife's health insurance. She's got the corporate health insurance, but we're still going to look at it come next fall. Yeah. But if you're paying for your own health insurance as a business owner, I would definitely look at Crowd Health, because a lot of the stuff you're talking about, Mike, I think they've worked out. I think they basically have gotten the pool big enough that you don't have to do that waiting period and stuff anymore. I didn't see it when I read through doesn't mean it's not there. It just means when I read through it, and that was weeks ago when I did this, but I don't think
it made sense to me, because it was not really necessarily a waiting period as much as it was for you to pay in a bit to have some deal, which made sense because people just jump on, which was the huge popularity of Obamacare was there was no pre-existing conditions,
right?
And being a licensed insurance agent, what I used to tell people all the time is that's not insurance. Like, that's not insurance. That's just other people paying for your shit. So, like, that's the whole basis of insurance is you're supposed to pay, and you have the bean counters figure out what it's going to cost. But just signing up and getting it paid for, that's not insurance.
Insurance is you giving somebody else money to assume risk. It's not a guarantee to pay on anything. That's the biggest thing I hate about when people start talking about health insurance and they're complaining when they don't get stuff for their health insurance. They're like, well, I was denied being able to use this brand new medication that's supposed to be a miracle drug. And I'm like, well, you signed a contract with this company and they didn't agree to pay for your scientific
Oh, it's-
miracle drug. Like, I don't know why you're upset about this. You know, I mean, if you want them to pay for that, then go back to them and renegotiate and start a new contract with them and pay more for your health insurance, because you're going to ask for riskier solutions. I don't know.
The best thing would be go back to just paying for your own health care, paying your own doctor, because that's where we lost control of it. Is the insurance companies take over and people don't care. People are like, I don't care, what's my copay? What do I got to pay? $40? Do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Dude. Like, and that's where it all tanked. I mean, there's only 2 generations ago. Like my grandmother, they paid for their own health care out of their pocket. They gave the doctor a chicken if they needed to. But so, like, and the cost, when you go in and ask the doctor, what's it going to cost? Now nobody asks, what's my copay? And that's where it's gone awry. Now the insurance companies.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you guys.
Yeah.
I need to hop off to get to a meeting. I wanted to share something with you guys real quick. In the private chat, I dropped a link. I see Zach saw it. Eric, I know you're going to like this. We talked about it. We just have a social, kind of like a party going on May 20th. It's called Bourbon, Scotch, and Suits. If you guys are into any of that, feel free to ask me questions about it. That link will take you to a registration page so you can RSVP. But yeah, just check it out if you want. It's just a social. We'll be having fun, man. And since I'm with you guys today, I just want to invite you. But thanks for having me again.
Make sure to refresh it each week when you're on here. Just always throw that out there. That'll be good to know, because I want to go. I'll probably put it on my calendar after we're done here. So
it's a lot of fun, man. But yeah, thanks again for having me. I'll see you guys next week.
Anytime, George. See you next week.
Yeah. Nice meeting you, Zach.
You too. We'll see you.
So
anyway, like I said, if we go back to paying for your own stuff again, then it would change. But it's the same theory as income tax, right? So if you had to write a check every year for your income tax, like all this discussion that we're having about Doge and all that stuff wouldn't even be a thing, because no way would all these people allow all this nonsense to be going on. If you had to write a check, you had to sit down and write a check at the end of the year for your income tax, like then people would be a little bit more concerned about transgender plays, Sesame Streets in freaking Iraq, stuff like that. Like that shit would never happen.
We'd care more about a 20% tax whenever
right.
Something where the Tea Party happened over like a 3% tax, and here we are.
Correct. Right. And that's before you add everything else. If you really sat down and added my wife and I were talking, I think last year we were doing a property tax for the county for your car. And I said, like, I had this car at the time. I've had this truck I've got for 4 years now, I think. So I was like, I wonder how much tax I paid on this truck, because I paid tax when I bought it, bought sales tax on it, and now I'm paying personal property tax on it. And I was like, how much have I paid on this stupid thing? And then my wife's like, just don't go there. Don't do the math. You'll just get pissed off. And so
I did the math.
I know I didn't do the math. I was like, you know what? You're right. Because that take me down a whole other rabbit hole of stuff, right? Because the car I had before that I had for like 10 years. So it's like, how much did I pay for this car? I paid $13,000 for the car. I bet I paid over half of that in sales tax, property tax. So that kind of stuff, and that's when I lose the whatever patience with, people talking about tax these billionaires. You need to tax the billionaires, and like it's such a deflection on what's going on. And those same people, I'm telling you wanted everybody to pay the same, just do a flat tax. It's fine. I'm down with that.
Anytime somebody says tax the billionaires, I just immediately understand that they don't understand.
Oh, they get taxed so much already.
It's not even sympathy for them being taxed so much already. It's simple math. Take all the billionaires' money and you've paid for government spending for like 35 minutes. It's
Right.
stupid.
Well, it's the funny thing is, like, you don't, if you listen to what they say, because I tend to listen to the words that people say, and the same with commercials and stuff. Like, I hear the things that they say, not just how they say it. And there's so many people that people say stuff in order to invoke an emotion, and I hear the literal what they actually said, right? So with a lot of those, Bernie Sanders and those people say, whatever, George Soros, whatever is in, such and such paid a high, like they always talk about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett pays a
Lower taxes than his secretary.
Tax rate than his secretary.
Yeah.
Lower tax rate. But what kind of idiot in their right mind would even think that Warren Buffett, one, doesn't pay taxes, or two, doesn't pay more taxes than anybody? So it's like, or create more taxes. I mean, maybe he doesn't pay more taxes, but he's following the law. So you need to change the law. And so, that kind of stuff. I hear people say that kind of stuff, but then you see someone react to, yeah, they don't pay anything. He doesn't pay anything. His secretary pays more than him. Like, shut up.
It's people speaking out of ignorance. I mean, at the end of the day, they just don't, they just don't know it. I mean, the level of economic illiteracy in this country is astounding.
It is astounding.
I mean, astounding. Everybody's like, well, I make my money, I pay my bills, and and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's like, people in this country don't even know where their money comes from. They don't even understand that it's all created out of debt. Like, if the country got rid of all of its debt, we would have no money. Nobody really even understands this concept.
I had an office there are 4 girls in the office at a company I used to work for, mortgage company. We had 4 processors in the office, or 5, I think. And I was just random one day. I went in, they were all millennials, whatever. I went in there one day and I said, hey, can you balance a checkbook? And the other one's like, they were just like, what? Can you balance a checkbook? They're like, I don't even have a checkbook. I don't even know where my checkbook is. If they gave me one when I opened my account, I don't even know where I put that shit. And like, everyone, I go, what do you do? How do you know how much money you have in there? I get up out of bed, I check my balance every day. And I was like, okay, like, and what if it's gone?
Well, but for a lot of, a lot of that's changed though now. I mean, back then, yes, I agree with you. Now, I mean, people don't write checks, so they don't have checks out there floating, to come into their account later. I mean, pretty much everybody pays with a card and the transactions show up immediately. So they all of a sudden they don't need to I mean, it would take, I reconcile my accounts, right? I have an accountant for a wife, and she sets up, automations and AI to do these things. So that's awesome. But I don't reconcile a checkbook anymore. I just,
my question was, do you know how to balance a checkbook?
Well, yes, I would actually probably have to like sit down and refigure out how to do it, because I haven't done it in so long. But yes, I have actually balanced a checkbook before, but it's been a long
time. The concept is what's out there,
yes,
versus what's already gone through and what I've got left. And so I guess that's my whole point.
I would venture to guess neither of my daughters even know how to write a check.
Right.
It's
now I'll tell you, like, I had to write a check to the water department a few months ago, and I've been writing checks for a really long time.
Right.
But I haven't written one in a really long time, and I forgot to write the part where you spell it all out. Send it in. I sent it to the water department, and then they were like, then I got my next bill, and it's like, you didn't pay. And so
but I did. No,
I did. I went up there, and so then I went up there, and I was like, what's going on? And they're like, we didn't get your payment. And then like 3 weeks later, it came through the account. They ran it. So when it happened, to someone pulled it out and said, like, who's this dummy? And somebody called me, but they didn't. Yeah, I got it. And I was at Hy-Vee one time. It was probably about a year ago. And my wife just hands me the check. Here, write a check. Like, what? I don't remember how.
I don't remember. Don't you remember
I don't
when I
know what the
screwed up
date
the
is.
water bill?
What's the date? I don't know what date it is. Can't we swipe something? So yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, we're at the 45-minute mark. What other good stuff do we got going on this week? Mother's Day is coming up in 2 weeks. I was going to be going to a baseball tournament, and they pulled us out of it. So I'm not going to the baseball tournament now. It was going to begin
That's
Branson.
when? Next week? Not this
Yeah.
weekend.
Not this weekend, next weekend.
I gotta make sure to buy my wife to get a card for my mom.
Right. There you go. Yeah. I just have, I have to remember. I just call and tell everybody Happy Mother's Day. I don't do cards. I'm a terrible card person. I'm a terrible gift giver, dude. If my wife didn't do it all for me, dude, my kids would probably get something that I bought last minute every time.
Right.
I mean, my wife like totally has my back on all that stuff. She even does cards. I think cards are kind of lame, but she likes them.
No, my wife does cards, and she's got a little file folder of cards with all the birthday all that stuff in there. Special occasion, boom, she goes to the file and pulls it out. I have some that I bought. Like I ordered some online because like one of them said like they're smart ass cards. Like cards. So it says like, is this the year you start putting tissue up your sleeve and stuff like that? Like I gave one to my uncle. My uncle's 84. He just turned 84, and he was having a hard time. And he likes to cook a lot and stuff, so he got it. But it basically said on the front of it, it said like, let's face it. If you were a banana, you'd be bread by now. So cards like that.
I get that one. I like that one.
I have some of those, and like that's the kind of cards I'm gonna. If I'm gonna give you a card, it's gonna say something like that. You're old as shit.
Only. I can't eat banana bread with nuts. It has to be nut free. I don't do nuts in my baking. There's just something about having
banana bread. I go with.
Has something about having something crunchy and something that's supposed to be soft.
Right.
And I also and no raisins either. Raisins are raisins are awful. Raisin cookies, oatmeal raisin cookies, awful.
Oh, I love those.
Oh God, no!
You might be a communist. You might check.
I'm pretty sure no, because I like chocolate chip cookies and pizza. So I mean, I'm definitely not a communist.
I hate raisins too, except when they're on those like Mediterranean, whatever weird ass salads they got. I don't know. There's all kinds of nuts and something.
Oh yeah, but that's a salad though.
Only place I can eat raisins.
I used to eat the hell out of raisins, man. When I was a kid, get them little bitty red boxes, open them puppies up,
like sweet or something. I don't know.
Part of your school lunch when I had to bring school lunches, you know.
Right.
When you went to Catholic school, you didn't have school lunches. You had to brown bag it every day. I remember when my parents got divorced and we moved to a different school. It's like, no, you're gonna get hot lunch every day. Like hot lunch at my Catholic school was like once a month, and it was like a thing, man. It was like a big deal. And then
the school cooked lunch.
Well, yes, it was a school cooked lunch, but I mean, since we only did it once a month, they would actually have, a local pizza company bring in pizzas for people. We'd have cheeseburger. I mean, it was more like a cookout sort of deal than it was like your standard school lunch, And then when we went to a new school, all of a sudden school lunches were every day. And like all of a sudden you're like, and that was really cool when you first went, but then afterwards you were like,
and then after a while you're like, this tastes like shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like this sucks. There's always a few good things, however they make that flat pizza that they make in schools. I could still eat the hell out of that, dude. I don't know why. At one school where they made lunch, they used to do a thing called pizza on a bun. Dude, and that was bomb. That was awesome. They take hamburger buns. Yeah, dude, they take hamburger buns, just open them up and put your pizza stuff right on top of the hamburger bun, throw that in the oven and bake it. Damn, bruh. It's like almost like French bread pizza. One of those hamburger bun pizza. But it was good.
Okay.
So anyway, there we go. There's a school lunch update from 1986. Hope you all enjoyed. Follow me on Facebook for more recipes.
For more
More middle school recipes.
Yeah, right, man. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I won't keep you guys any longer. I appreciate you joining me for the show. Got our lunches in. Gonna get on with other business stuff throughout the day. Yep, and we will be back next Wednesday for more business roundtable. Sandy did say Sandy, our real estate lady who joins us occasionally, she had well, I don't want to get into too many details, but she had a thing she had to do, and she's going to be out of commission for, I don't know, at least another week or so. So we will see. Hopefully she can make it back next week. If not, I'm sure it'll be the week after that. And other than that, guys, Mike, tell us who you are, where you're from, how can we get a hold of you?
I don't know where I'm from. Mike from Summit Lending. Well, you can call me on my phone, 816-456-2678. Go to MikeFoot.com, fill out an application. Yeah.
Or you have another webinar coming up, so it's my homeschool
Webinar
right?
tomorrow. There's a webinar tomorrow night at 7:30, I think. Mike'sHomeschool.com.
There we go.
And
Mike's homeschool. I said my homeschool, but it's Mike's homeschool.
Mike'sHomeschool.com. We do homeschooling.
That's why I let you guys announce your guys' stuff, because I will screw up everybody's names unless I have them all written down here in front of me. So, all right, Zach, you're up.
Zach, Complo Strategic, helping businesses maintain and grow profits inside their business, and set them up for either treating them better the rest of their life or selling, exiting.
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
ConflowStrategic.com.
There you go. There you go. And I'm Eric Tiemann, Living Life and Style Travel. I can help you out with all your travel needs, personal, leisure, vacation, business, groups, events. I'm going to be rolling out group trips here now that I got my website set up. I'm going to also be creating a page that's going to emphasize major events going on, not just here in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area, but also nationwide. So give me a call at 816-744-1405 for more information. Guys, I appreciate it every time you guys join me on the show. It's always a great conversation. We have a lot of good fun, and look forward to doing it again next week. Be good, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yep.